Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys for another show and another episode of our Raw Reaction series, specifically the Arsenal News Show. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing well today. What I would like from you, if anything, is tell me if the sound is any better, and the camera needs to be wiped, but tell me if the sound is any better at all, because around me is like soundproofing stuff, so I need to know I don't need that light shining on top of me. Oh no, it's all going wrong anyway. Let's see if I can change that. I don't think I can, unless I can balance something on top of the camera. That's the only one I'm going to be able to fix this. Hold on, here we go. Is that going to work? That just works. There we go. Lovely stuff. So let me know if the sound is any clearer or better. It's more for the neighbours' benefit, to be honest, than my own. But it'd be good to know if it's any better at all with the sound wise. So I hope you're doing good. Morning to Matt. Morning to Jonty. Morning to William. To Thracian. To Olu. Adam. Harvey. Good morning to Stevie. Jose. Chris. Paul. We've got Christopher. Santino TV, we've got Temi Gustavo, we've got Bradley Taylor Perez, good morning to you. Aziz, good morning to, who else have we got? Sean Caps, Christopher Chan, we've got Albrecht as well, who joined us for one of our Twitter spaces the other week. Plenty of you, so thank you so much, guys, as always, for tuning in. There is no show tomorrow, I'm just putting that out there, so don't turn up tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. expecting there to be a show, because there's not. The show will be back on Monday, but there's no show tomorrow. Taking a break. If you consider the fact that we've done one of these shows so many days in a row, even after deadline day, just going to take a day off on Sunday. So apologies for that, but we'll be back again on Monday. But let's kick on with today's show. If you haven't done so already, please do drop a like on the video, and of course subscribe to the channel if you are new around here, with those notifications turned on so you never miss a show. And also do go over to the Arsenal Way and get subscribed as well. No, Vinny, I'm not actually out tonight. So no, that may have sounded, to be fair, I am. It's out for an in-law's birthday meal, but nothing heavy. So no, it's not, it's not to avoid a hangover. And as we all know, I've done shows on this channel very hungover. Still very much committed. Just need a day off. It's as simple as that. And also, if you haven't already donated to Vinny's charity, we've always hit 9,000, which when we started helping out and showing up the charity on the channel, I think it was just over 7,000. So, you know, thank you for everyone that's donated in the time since then. I'm sure Vinny also really, really, really appreciates it too. But help us on the target to get to 10k. We're going to be continuing to support the charity all the way up to the £10,000 mark. So do please keep donating. But we kick off with an impressive result. Arsenal women getting a draw away at Chelsea in the race for the WSL. Fantastic result in the end. If you can't beat them, you know, you got to do your absolute best to try and not lose. And that is exactly what the women did. Really good defensive display, really good resolute defending at the back, and held on. They are 2 points clear at the top, but Chelsea do have a game in hand, which they could absolutely easily win. Chelsea are a very good team, but the fact that they've managed to get them to a draw and they didn't allow them to open up that advantage is still a solid result for the women. So well done, girls, and fingers crossed Chelsea slip up in the near and long-term future as well. Mohamed Elneny has been speaking about his future. He says, I want to play the rest of my life outside of Egypt. This is my dream. Al Ahly is a very great club, but I hope to end my life abroad and work as a coach abroad as well. I have a dream and I will reach it. I see that I can be a key player in Arsenal. If I saw that my level was far from them, I would leave. Now, this news comes after Elneny's agent was speaking specifically about the number of clubs that have been interested very much so in Elneny. We've heard about English teams, we've heard about Turkish sides, Italian sides, but Arsenal rejected all approaches for the midfielder. And Elneny now will definitely stay until the end of the season at least, but he does indeed have a contract that expires in the summer, and so when that does, you can't imagine that Arsenal will renew. He looks like one of those players like Lacazette and Elneny and Eddie Nketiah, that will be moving on in the summer. But when he describes himself as a key player for Arsenal, I mean, I appreciate the I appreciate the positivity around himself, but you know, and people may laugh at that, but actually, we could have really used him in January. We could have really done with him being in midfield. So the fact that we didn't have him was actually quite a big loss. So fingers crossed for the rest of the season. We don't have to use him, but if we do, then he'll come in and do a very solid job for us, and best of luck to him for the rest of the season. Now, interestingly, Kieran Tierney has been linked with a move away from Arsenal. Real Madrid are said to be interested in the Scottish international. Tierney's been struggling a little bit at Arsenal recently. I think we've all noticed kind of the performance levels at his left-back position have dropped. I think that's more to do with kind of the inconsistency of the midfield and central left central midfield position. Possibly even Martinelli being ahead of him. Tierney and Martinelli do need to improve their relationship, and it's going to be interesting how Smith Rowe actually integrates back into the team with Tierney coming into the fold, and if that improves Tierney's output, because having Smith Rowe there, who's someone who's actually a lot better combining with the left back than Martinelli, if this steps up his kind of output. But Real Madrid are reportedly interested. El Español have reported that they are keeping tabs on the player. It would cost a ridiculous amount of money to get Tierney out of Arsenal, considering he signed that new deal last year, I think it was. So he's got a long-term contract with Arsenal. He is not going to be, in my view, going anywhere anytime soon, unless they put a ridiculous amount of faith in Nuno Tavares being kind of the starter moving forwards. But I don't really see that happening. People may point towards him being a player that was brought in before Mikel Arteta arrived at the club, but we did sign him up to a new deal under Arteta, and he's been very much a mainstay in Mikel's team, as well as one of the leaders and possible captain candidates as well. So I would be very surprised to see Tierney go anywhere. Now, Matt Turner's move from New England Revolution has been confirmed on the US side of the equation. Arsenal, according to my colleague Kaya Kainak, are not expected to announce this until the medical has been completed in the summer, and it will be announced as a summer signing. But the deal is now utterly and entirely confirmed. We already kind of knew this anyway. £4.5 million, rising to £7.5 million, including bonuses. It's a very good move for Arsenal. It's a very good move for the club to replace Bernd Leno with a good level goalkeeper, the best goalkeeper in MLS last season, US men's national team starting goalkeeper over Zach Steffen as well, costing very little, and we should be able to make a profit considering Bernd Leno should go for considerably more than what we've paid for Matt Turner. So that's some really good news for the club, getting in our Bernd Leno replacement this early. Youri Tielemans is set to leave Leicester City, as we've all been made well aware, but Fabrizio Romano tweeting yesterday the news that we've been talking about for some time, that the player has absolutely no intention to sign a new contract with Leicester City. He will likely leave in the summer. There's been reports suggesting that they would let him go for as little as €40 million, which is around £35 million. But I still feel like that he would cost significantly more than that. I might be struggling to think of when Leicester have actually sold a player of that kind of calibre for less than, say, £50-60 million. So obviously we would probably expect Tielemans to leave for around the £40 million plus figure. But who knows? With just a year left on his deal, maybe Leicester would be willing to accept a lower fee. It's interesting how his form's kind of tailed off recently. He's been struggling a little bit, as have the entire of the Leicester team, and I don't think it's reflective of his kind of quality. But still, I've seen so many people start turning their minds on Tielemans and saying, no, not good enough, hasn't been doing well enough for Leicester, we need someone better. I do think very much that he is good enough to be brought into this team and improve the midfield significantly. So let's see, and fingers crossed we can move forwards for a player that would really improve the midfield. I think it would add a lot more dynamism to the midfield three that we've been using. Arteta's wanted to switch to this 4-3-3, and I think that Tielemans would suit that significantly. Let's move on to the final story of the day, and that is Alexander Isak. And it's not positive news, unfortunately, because when you consider the fact that there are a number of teams now being linked, Man United were linked, Chelsea were linked, and now Barcelona and Real Madrid have supposedly stepped up their interest. Much of that interest is all hinging on where Erling Haaland will end up this season and this summer. He's expected to probably move on from Dortmund with the activation of the buyout clause that both Real Madrid and Barcelona are interested in. But specifically, Isak is being targeted by clubs as a possible alternative to Erling Haaland. So Arsenal, should they want to sign him, will be very much in competition with those clubs. That is all of today's news, which means we do move on to the questions in the chat box. So if you do have any questions that you'd like to ask, please do throw them in there now, and I'll do my absolute best to go through as many of them as possible. Okay, let's see what we are saying. Vinny says, 333 people watching, only 50 likes. Hit a like, and Spurs will slip up this weekend. If you'd like to see Spurs drop some points, make sure you hit that like button. Thank you for the continued support, Vinny. And everyone in the chat box, as always. Let's scroll up and see if I missed any questions. Vinny did ask a question, in fact. Do you think he plays deeper because Martinelli is in front of him and that's tactical? Possibly so. We also had Cedric playing in the last game, who's a much more offensive right back. So if you are overcommitting Tierney on the left-hand side and you've got an offensive right back as well, it can leave you a bit exposed. So maybe Arteta was being mindful with Tierney's positioning. But to be honest, I think that Tierney has been struggling a little bit over the last kind of month and a month plus. We haven't really seen the Tierney that we have been used to, especially the Tierney that we had last season, who was easily our best player for much of the season. We haven't had that same player. Maybe he's just exhausted. Maybe it's just not working out for him this season as much as it was last season, where he was very much relied upon. But maybe Smith Rowe coming back into the team will unlock it. I'm actually going to have a look at some of the stats of when he plays with Martinelli and when he plays with Smith Rowe, and about how it could unlock the player's potential. Let's go to Navarro says, Tom, imagine Tierney speaking Spanish. Yeah, that would be a sight to behold, or, you know, an earful to behold is probably the better way to put it. Jose says, hey, Tom, what are your thoughts on Darwin Núñez from Benfica? He looked good when he played in Benfica in the Europa League last year. He didn't do much against us, to be fair, but I have been impressed by seeing some of him this season. I think this season's really been his opportunity to shine. It's been his chance to show people what he's capable of, and it looks like he's taken the opportunity with both hands, and you would expect there to be significant interest in him in the summer. One to watch. Will Arsenal go for him? I do think they have other targets that they'll be looking at, to be honest. Jaunty says, how do we convince Isak over other clubs to sign him in the summer? It will depend on where we qualify in the league. If Barcelona don't get Champions League football, that would be big. If Arsenal can get top four, it would be huge for all of the possible players that we need to try and sign. To try and pry Calvert-Lewin away from Everton, to get Jonathan David away from Lille, getting into the Champions League will be huge for Arsenal. So we've got to keep our fingers crossed that that's something that we can do. Matt says, is Leno injured? Noticed he wasn't on the bench. He tested positive, Matt, unfortunately. So we wish him the absolute best and hope he gets well soon. But that's why Leno was not involved in Thursday night's game. Bulgarian Gooner says, 2 strikers, 2 midfielders, possibly a winger and a right back. Can we pull all of that off in the summer? Well, we signed 6 players in the summer. So why can't we pull off 5? I think, well, another 6, arguably, with what you've said there. 2 strikers, 2 midfielders. I think maybe if you signed a wide forward who could also play centrally as a striker, you probably cover 2 of those positions with one signing. And also you don't necessarily block the path of, say, a Balogun coming through either. So that's also an opportunity for us to try and be a little bit clever in the market as well. Dan says, Tom, we didn't activate Isak's release clause because of some self-proclaimed smart business because we can get him cheaper in the summer. Now it looks like it'll be a bidding war. No, we didn't activate his release clause, Dan, because he's not worth that amount of money. We didn't sign him because we thought we could get him for cheaper in the summer. We didn't sign him this window like we could have done. We could have activated that release clause quite not happily, but easily. We had the money available. We could have done it if we needed to. But they deemed him not worth that amount of money. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all for not activating that release clause. He's not worth £75 million. I don't think he's worth £50 million yet. So we'll have to wait and see how much and where he goes in the summer. But I do think there are better options at striker. He's not my number 1 pick anymore either. I mean, I don't think he's ever been my number 1 pick. He was at one spot. I suppose he was towards the end of the January window because he was the only option that we had. But in the summer, I'm looking at him as kind of 3rd, 4th choice amongst strikers that are out there, to be fair. Adam says, Tom, seeing how Dortmund are already getting their summer deals in order with Adeyemi, why aren't we ever getting our business done ahead of the transfer window? Well, we've just signed Matt Turner from New England Revolution. We've sorted out Bernd Leno's replacement. We also will be in a position where Dortmund will be in the Champions League next season. So whoever they're trying to sign will have that guarantee that Dortmund will be playing Champions League football pretty much. I mean, I haven't checked the Bundesliga table in a while, but I'm pretty sure. Let's have a look. Bundesliga table, Dortmund are second and they are above fifth by 9 points. So, yeah, they're going to be playing Champions League football next season. They've got the ability to be able to negotiate and have that as a guarantee. Arsenal don't. So that's why there's a difference between the two. Sam says, do you honestly think we will win a major trophy in 10 years, like the Prem and the Champions League? Who knows, Martin? We seem to like we're spending a significant amount of money. We seem to be, not taking any prisoners regarding the squad, and we want to improve things. So anything's possible. But sitting here right now, can I see Arsenal winning the league under Stan Kroenke? I'm not so sure. I really don't think so. But because Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool are so good right now. So it's going to be very, very tricky. Clive says, our left side is a bit off. I do like the Nuno and ESR combo. It's balanced and gets Martinelli up top sooner. I think that seeing Smith Rowe come back into the team and how that will affect Kieran Tierney is going to be interesting come Brentford's. I'm going to be at the game, so I look forward to seeing in person whether or not it works. Medical Study Buddy, thank you for the donation, mate. Tom, morning. I fell asleep on the couch and then woke up to your show. Perfect timing. Well, welcome to the show, and I hope your head's all right. I've never fallen asleep on a sofa without there being a night out involved, so I don't know whether or not that's the right way, but you'll have to let us know. Brad says, do we need Isak? Gabriel has scored many goals. Lol. Yes, let's just play Gabriel up front. Clearly that's the way to go forwards. Kirshen says, Tom, can you trade Pepe? I mean, I can't, but we may be able to trade Pepe for Podence. I like Podence. He's very similar to Martinelli, though. He's got kind of that diminutive, quick acceleration and stature and ability to take players on. I like him a lot. Is he better than the players that we've been linked to in wide positions? Maybe. He's Premier League ready. He's a regular performer. He's not a regular goal scorer, though. That's the only thing, is that, yes, he's quite flair. He's a bit like Alan Saint-Maximin, actually, and it's why I have a few questions over him too. A lot of flair, a lot of trickery, very easy on the eye, but in regards to actual output, that's the question you've got to ask, is would they provide you with enough goals if we were to bring them in? Chris says, do you really trust Turner? With how he went through the US soccer pipeline, I feel he'll struggle on the ball at the Premier League pace. When I did a deep dive article into his distribution seemed fine. It's not as good as Steffen's, to be fair, but I think it's very easy to compare the two and then go, oh, well, he's not as good as Steffen, so he's not going to be good, when that's not actually the situation. So I am very confident about Turner. I like what I've seen of him so far, and he's only going to be the backup to Aaron Ramsdale. I'm going to be interested to see how he comes in. If he comes in and struggles, he's only cost us £4.5 million. It's not a high-risk signing. He's already in his mid to late 20s, so I don't think it's too much of a problem for Arsenal to get that deal. Thracian says, Tom, do you think that our main striker target may be someone we have not been linked with? I have a sneaking feeling about getting Champions League and then going all out for Haaland. If we got Champions League and didn't go for Haaland, I'd be a bit disappointed. I know that might seem a bit crazy, but look, if you get Champions League, you have the right to try and go for whoever you want. And with Martin Ødegaard here and with the money available, why not throw your hat in the ring and activate the release clause as well, and then allow him to choose where he wants to go? Why not? You never know. But I think that we'll be going for one of the strikers that we've already seen names. There's not too many top quality strikers around, and we've been linked to pretty much all of them, be it Calvert-Lewin, Isak, David, Schick, Haaland even. Like, we've been linked to all of the big main strikers. So I don't think you'll see us sign someone that has not been mentioned already. Let's go down a little bit more. Let's go to Rancid Pumpkin, who says, if the Rams win the Super Bowl, can you imagine this has any impact on Arsenal? Hopefully it does. If the Rams win the Super Bowl and Stan Kroenke gets kind of this, bear with me, taste for winning, and they like it, and getting that feeling of getting one of their teams to win the Super Bowl, who knows? Could it have an impact on them trying to get Arsenal against the top of things? It's purely fanciful. It's fantasy land stuff that I'm discussing, but you got to live somewhere and hope that if they do win it, it can have a positive impact on Arsenal. There could be negative impacts on Arsenal. Once they've reached the heights of the Rams, they may pour all of their focus into trying to get the Rams dominant consistently. I don't know enough about, that sport to be able to really speak about it, but I'm just theorising here. Hopefully it gives them the taste of winning if they were to do something. Thoughts on Sulemana, says Clive. It's a name that I am struggling with. Ghanaian, 19-year-old, 18 million playing for Rennes. Haven't seen any of him, Clive, at all. 4 goals, 2 assists in 20 Liga games. I know nothing. I know absolutely nothing. 1.75 metres. What's that in feet? He's 5'7". He's not the power. He doesn't seem the powerful winger, Clive, that you wanted. He joined last year, to be fair, from Nordsjælland for £13.5 million. I'm sure he would cost a significant amount of money if they were to let him go. But yeah, that's interesting that you're looking at him, Clive, considering he's not the powerful winger or the physical person that we were discussing previously. So I've not seen anything of him though, so I can't comment. I can't give you any kind of insight on him or my opinion because I've just not seen him. Eamon says, what midfielder floats your boat, mate? Much love from Australia. Thanks, Eamon, for joining us. What midfielder? Look, there are a lot of midfielders out there right now, and I really wanted Bruno Guimaraes. I like Tielemans. I like Ruben Neves. I think these are players that would fit into the 4-3-3 that we saw us use against Wolves, and in that Granit Xhaka position where Partey's playing deeper, you've got Ødegaard playing kind of this hybrid 8-10 right-sided midfield position, and then you've got this other player in the 8 role in front of Partey on the left that's going to support Tierney and support Martinelli or Smith Rowe. I feel like Tielemans can be that guy. I also feel like Neves could be that guy. There was a reason why we're linked to someone like Artemelo, who's a very good distributor of the ball, not massively quick, but still dynamic and good with the ball at his feet. Someone who's good technically and a good dribbler, can take the ball past people. And I think that, all of those players I've mentioned fit into that position. So any of those, I would be very keen to see Arsenal move for. Antonov says, thoughts on Denis Zakaria? Obviously moved to Juventus and scored on his debut. I can't remember who it was that tweeted me. Someone tweeted me about this. And what I would say is that, look, Denis Zakaria is a deep midfielder. Goals do not define his ability or what he's capable of. So when he goes and scores on his debut and you see everyone going, oh, we missed out on this guy, look, he's scoring goals for Juventus, that's not going to be a regular occurrence. It's not going to be something that happens over and over and over. So I wouldn't say we missed out necessarily on a starter, but what I do think we missed out on Zakaria is a very shrewd, cheap option that would have got you a lot of bang for your buck, basically, is what I think about Zakaria. But I don't think you can judge on his goal-scoring abilities because that's just not really what he's for, if you know what I mean. Cass says, what's happened to Taylor Hart lately? Should he be integrated into the squad? It's actually gone quite quiet on Kido Taylor Hart. I don't know if he's injured, but I've not even seen him popping up in the under-23s of late. Let me just have a quick check because he may be injured. But he's only played 8 games in the PL2. Not in the squads for the last 4 games. I don't know. We'll be doing our youth update next week. So there's plenty to talk about with the youth team and all the players that have joined and left that youth side as well. So we'll be chatting to Kev, Next Generation Arsenal, next week about that. So I will make sure to ask Cass, where on earth is Kido Taylor Hart? Adam says, Tom and Clive, what are your thoughts on Ekitike? He looks like a wide forward type who can play across the front line. Look, he's certainly someone that's on the radar of a lot of people, young, up and coming. Again, I'm not a huge watcher of Liga. I don't know loads about him. Newcastle tried to sign him in January and didn't get him into the team. Don't know enough about him to sit here and say, yes, we should absolutely go and sign him because I've not seen enough. But he is someone that's being talked about very highly amongst people I know that do watch Liga. But I will need to look into him a little bit more before I can sit here and say, yes, we should absolutely sign Ekitike. I think we're going to wrap the morning show up there. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, as always. As I said, there's no show tomorrow morning, so don't get out of bed early or set your alarms early for tomorrow morning. But there will be a show back on Monday. There also might be a show on Lee Judge's channel Sunday evening. But other than that, I'll see you on Monday. So a fantastic weekend. Enjoy it. Another weekend without any Arsenal, but back to it the following weekend against Brentford, and all of the build-up to that will be on the channel. And you can obviously find out even more content over on the Arsenal Way too. Link is in the description. See you soon, guys. Have a great day. Drop a like, subscribe, and as always, up the Arsenal.